Hi, everybody, and welcome to Moohead Radio. It is the Friday edition, and I'm your host, a big and furry bovine. I want to let everybody know that if I don't sound like my usual self, it's because I have this cold sore on the edge of my tongue, you
Mouth
know,
ulcer.
and you just. I don't know. I don't know how you get this. It just shows up suddenly, and I guess it serves me right for performing cunnilingus on strangers.
Wow.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah, but they paid you good money for it, so don't complain.
Yeah. Just a gigolo everywhere I go. Yeah, like
That's
people
the
are
one.
believing that. So we have not only Bronk from England, but we've got a special guest, the deceased spirit of Tommy Heinsohn, who and this is not something that I cherish particularly, but everything has its time. And I think it's time that we heard from the deceased spirit of Tommy Heinsohn. And if anybody in the chat room, like there's a whole bunch of you, but if anyone's in the chat
All
room,
three of you.
yes, want to ask a question of the deceased spirit of Tommy Heinsohn, go ahead and fire your questions in the chat room because this may be the last time you ever hear this again. Hopefully for you. All right. But before I bring Tommy in, I just want to say how good it feels that these uber Bostonian fans walked out on their teams with 6 minutes left to go in the game because they were getting their ass kicked and couldn't do anything about it. And
Wow.
I just, it was hilarious watching the place clear out like there was a fire inside.
Wow. I
Oh,
missed that. Was it as bad as the time the Lakers fans threw their foam fingers on the floor when LeBron beat them on
yeah.
Christmas
Well,
Day?
it's similar. I mean, it's one of those things that they think, we're from Boston, and because we're from Boston, we're better.
We're better than you.
I lived in
Yeah.
Massachusetts. I went to school at UMass. I spent time in Boston, and there are a lot of racists in Boston. And every player, main player from Bill Russell, who was the franchise during their dynasty years,
Yeah.
to move on with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
You know, you will you'll find in every major sport, black athletes will tell you that it was really shitty for them in Boston because they get blamed for everything. And the day that they decided that, okay, we're going to emancipate ourselves because we're not going to stick around here on the plantation, that's when things went south. The people in Boston, especially the Irish Catholic in Boston. Oh my God. When I was in school, they were hideous,
Yeah.
just hideous. Oh, wait a minute, Richard. You bring this up? And when I woke up, Mary Jo and the cow were gone. Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could forgive Ted, but they couldn't forgive Bill Russell. And what for? I don't know. Bill Russell did everything he could do, including throwing up before every game, and it
Yeah.
wasn't enough. So it was a thrill to watch
Oh,
these fans walk out on their team.
here's another thing about Boston I only recently found out. They had a chance to sign Willie Mays in like 1951, but Joe Cronin, the Boston GM Hall of Famer and baseball player prior to that, said, no, he doesn't look like a Red Sox, in quotes.
Nice.
So he didn't, he could, can you imagine the Red Sox in the 50s with Willie Mays and Ted Williams? Fucking hell. But
Yeah.
no, it's because they didn't want black people on their team.
Yeah. I mean, and Rick May is just sharing this piece of information. They were the last baseball team to integrate.
Absolutely. 1959, Pumpsy Green.
Who's a relative of Nipsey Russell, I guess.
Wow. Great name.
Pumpsy Green. Yeah. And he never amounted to much, I guess.
No,
Not
he
in
wasn't that
Boston
good.
anyway.
No.
If you don't do floors and windows, you don't make it in Boston.
Yeah, you have to bring your cleaning supplies with you. So,
Exactly right, Richard. Yeah. Oh, God almighty. You wouldn't believe how many Notre Dame fans there are in Boston.
oh,
Needless to say.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
Tommy Heinsohn, I distracted you from him.
yeah, if anybody wants to ask any questions of Tommy Heinsohn, the dead spirit of Tommy Heinsohn, he's going to comment right now on the game because, quite honestly,
Who was Tommy? Who was your favorite teammate?
My favorite teammate. Oh, for God's sakes. You think I can remember this shit? Bailey Howell. Was one of those players for me. John Havlicek was one of those players for me. God almighty. Larry Siegfried from the Ohio State University.
He was great.
That's all I can pull out of my tight Irish ass right now. I just want to tell some people something. No, my liver has not dried out yet. What kind of a thing is that to say to a dead guy? Like it matters. You know, Richard, you can go fuck yourself. So let me go over this with you. Look at the starting lineup for these Celtics. And they had a great year. Don't get me wrong. You got Tatum, you got Horford, you got Holiday, you've got Derek White, and you got Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
You got a black guy named White and a black guy named Brown.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just pointing this out. Do not call me a racist because I am dead. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So let me go on with this. This is what happened in the game. You expect Tatum and Brown to be the stars of the team.
You would, yeah.
Well, together, they went 2 for 11 from 3 points, okay? They weren't making the long connection.
Wow.
But what really threw me off, all this hype before the game about Derek White. Derek White is not Tatum. He's not Brown. He's definitely not John Havlicek. Derek White ain't even JoJo White.
Wow.
I want to bring this to your attention. Derek White has a few good games, and everybody's all gaga about him. Well, in this game, let me share statistics with you. Derek White was a minus 27 while he was on the court as point guard.
Wow.
He was 3 of 11 from the field, 1 for 8 from 3 points, okay? But Pritchard, who's the backup point guard, was 6 of 10 from the field, scored 13 points, had 4 assists. Now, Pritchard's a white guy. Now, I just want to point this out for a reason. Because, first of all, Derek White can't be the primary shooter to shove up that many shots. He can't do it. With Tatum's only getting 17 shots, why is Derek White getting 11 shots? That's the first thing I'm asking. He's out there to pass the basketball and distribute. But he didn't do the job. Pritchard, the white guy, did a better job. So I believe they have to put him in to pass for White. There's a logic to this. There's a logic to this.
I'm gonna mute.
He muted because of what I said. I just want to be able to explain to you in no uncertain terms what is on my mind. I think you can guess what it is. I'm dead and nobody can punish me at this point. There's not going to be a posse coming out for me. I'm dead. Just remember that. Now, you take a look at the other missing piece. Take a look at a guy like Porzingis. Everyone says, they could easily beat the Cavaliers without Porzingis. The guy's 7'11" or whatever the fuck he is. And he's pale complected. And he's going to get you 20 points a night. And he's not able to play because he's hurt. And he's been hurt a number of times in his career. So without that, somebody has to pick up the slack. But nobody did. They got Horford, who's 37 years old.
Yeah, he's old.
Old man River. He just keep rolling along. He made approximately his first three-point shots and missed everything afterwards. He was a -6 in the game. Tatum, a -22. And look at Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, -29. What we need is an infusion.
Here we go.
Of some different bench players to bring into the game. We don't need Tillman. What do we need a guy like that for? Now, I feel fortunate we have Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett. I just love that guy. I mean, you look at him, he was 3 for 4 from the free throw line. What's not to love? But everything else, we need to have backups who speak better grammar in English. I hope I'm making wait, I got something in my eye. I don't see any questions in the chat room. So I'm just going to say this. If you can get somebody else besides Derek White out there who can pass the basketball and distribute the ball properly, you can't tell me he was 30 minutes on the court and he registered 5 assists. He turned the ball over a couple times. You can't tell me that that's the kind of performance that we need when Pritchard scored more than he did in 20 minutes and had as many assists. I rest my case.
Wow. Thank you, Tommy.
I mean, Tommy always has a unique but definitive perspective on the trials and tribulations. And the thing with Boston fans, you could tell when the game started, they came out hard and fast, and the Cavaliers fell behind. And you were going, oh, God, here we go again. But all this national press, all of it that said, oh, the Cavaliers don't have a chance. Cavaliers, they're going to get swept in 4.
Yeah.
There's not a chance. And I got to be honest with you. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd been swept in 4.
Neither would I.
But in a game in which the Boston Celtics were 20 of 24 from the free throw line, and the Cleveland Cavaliers were 11 of 16, they actually outscored Cleveland by 9 points from the free throw line and lost by 24.
That's unreal.
It is unreal.
It is unreal.
Richard, I'm still here. Lenny bias. You're the one who's biased. You give all that money to a guy shoving white powder up his nose. What did you think was going to happen?
Wow.
Need I say more? University of Maryland was probably providing him with that shit. Lefty Driesell was probably paying him. Who in the hell knows? We've had more than our fair share of people suddenly dying. Whole team last night dead on arrival. Yeah. I mean, so they got off to a good start. Cavaliers called a timeout, and you're like, all right, what's going to happen now? And then all of a sudden, Evan Mobley starts taking over.
Evan Mobley.
Evan Mobley. So
I'll just line them up for you, and you can just like knock them over.
I don't understand. Why would you get on Bob Cousy's case? That man dribbled a basketball almost as good as Pete Maravich.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the best ball handler I've ever seen, and that was
and
not
you've
on the
seen
court.
A lot of ball handlers,
not on the court. I'm talking. This man could handle his balls. God, Bob Cousy. People don't even know what we're talking about here.
No, they don't.
I'm done doing Tommy because it's ripping my throat out, and I got to sing tonight.
You got to sing. You're not going to be doing Titanium.
No, I don't do that. No. Maybe I should just have Topaz explain what happened. No. At any rate, so the Cavaliers get back into the game. And, the gift that keeps giving is J.B. Bickerstaff. He's a lousy coach, and he's still a lousy coach. Players did a great job on the floor. They're up at the end of the first quarter, again, like 9 points. And he puts George Niang in the game. He does. Luka. And I mean, in a minute and 45 seconds, and I'm not exaggerating, that is the exact number. In a minute 45, the lead was gone with that idiot on the floor. I mean, I thought we were done with him. I thought we decided, okay, we're going to give a little bit of time to Merrill, because Yang's not defending, he's not shooting, he's not doing anything. There he is, and bam, just like that, they fucked us at the drive-thru, and they were back in the game. Yeah. But fortunately, in the second quarter, things got, were leveled out, and we got back into the game, got the crowd out of it, and then in the second half, all hell broke loose when Donovan Mitchell, and some of those shots, I swear, I mean, the one that he banked in off balance from the top of the key for the behind the arc, he couldn't do that again if he tried. You don't bank that shot, but it was one of those nights, and it just kept getting worse for the Celtics. And fortunately, we didn't see Niang until the end of the game. And there was a comment in the chat room that I thought was really interesting. R. Jones, let's see. Last night's game was fixed. Celtics put their entire bench on the floor, down by 14 with over 4 minutes to go. I don't know what game you were watching. They were not down by 14. When they took their players out, they were down by 28 points. Yeah. Hello, McFly.
That doesn't mean he's wrong, though. It could have been fixed. Like I said, the Celtics were 11-1 on last night before that game. I mean, that's just insulting. If you're a Cavs fan of any sort.
Well, Amsterdam, colored greens. All right.
There you go.
Oh my God, I can't do Timmy Barthel. I won't be able to sing. I got to stop doing the character voice here because my voice won't hold up. All right, that's all you get. A Timmy Barthel. He's happy the Cavaliers won. So, and things started going well as the Cavs started loosening up. Even Darius Garland hit a few threes, and it was one and done. The Celtics gave up. I mean, without mincing words, they gave up. I mean, they were just hoisting up wild threes that had no chance of going in. And with one and done, man, we were getting rebounds. Now, we did all this without Jared Allen. So there are a lot of people. Brian Windhurst was talking about Evan Mobley before the game and saying that Evan Mobley's a great defensive player, but he's not a great offensive player, and that he just doesn't have that in his game. And what I'm going to say is, at 22 years of age, obviously, there's a lot missing from the offensive arsenal. But I think with a better coach and a better bench coaches, that would be directing him into a scheme where he had to do certain things. I believe he can do it, because when he came out, in the first quarter of the game, and they were moving him to the top of the key, and he was the one who was initiating ball movement, and he was the one who was throwing passes off back screens from the top of the key. He threw a 3 in. He was doing a lot of different things. Oh, come on, Bronk. That's a spinning knuckleball. Anybody could hit that.
This is what I live for,
For Bill Walton, yeah.
Bill Walton. Dave Pounds.
Yeah. So that is funny. It's like that would be something you really have to analyze if you were, But the media, the way the media is reacting to the Cavaliers winning is even more interesting. The first thing they do is all the people like Stephen A. Smith.
I was just going to say him. What did he think of the game?
Well, Stephen A. Smith is a Knicks fan.
Correct.
And the whole league wants a Knicks-Boston Eastern Final. I mean, if you haven't figured that out, you're lame.
Absolutely.
You're just lame. But, basically what he was saying was that he was concerned.
Wow.
That he was concerned about that. You're not supposed to be rooting for one team or another, Stephen A. But
no,
he is. He is.
Yeah.
And all the media is. And so you're getting these weird reactive things. What was, 2 days ago's news, Cavaliers don't have a chance. They'll be out in 4. They're lucky they got by Orlando, and they're not going to win a game in Boston. They might win and sneak a win in Cleveland. That's as good as it's going to get. Now you paint yourself into a corner, and now you've got to come out of that corner by trying to level out the field. But they're not saying, the Cavs maybe are a little better than we thought they were. No. They're basically saying that this is a throwback to previous seasons with Tatum and Brown and underachieving.
Wow.
And that and now suddenly they're saying, no, even though the Celtics were 69-13 or 68-14 this year?
Pretty crazy number, yeah.
I
can look it up.
They're not a superstar team. This is what being said, that they are a team with a super payroll. Okay.
Right.
But they're not a superstar team, and there's a difference.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have LeBron on their team or somebody of that stature, but they're all pretty fucking good. I mean, they're max contracts.
Yeah, and Ronald, no, I'd say that the Celtics are stronger.
No.
Listen, let's not get carried away, or else we're going to sound like Boston fans. But the bottom line of the game was anything can happen when you take your foot off the gas. And if you start believing what the press is saying, which they were saying that they were a superstar team 2 days ago. And so now the press has to get them fired up and give them locker room, fodder.
Material. Yeah,
that's right. They're going to do it on the networks by shaming them into playing really hard. You wait till you see the Celtics come out in the first 5 minutes of the
Oh,
game in Cleveland.
oh no, I don't want to see that. It will be painful. No.
And Richard is absolutely right. I mean,
Well,
even in a game that we dominated, they still got to the free throw line more than we did. We're not
double.
going to get any assistance whatsoever
No.
on this. But that's the way the league is. We know that's the way the league is, but it's funny how everyone pivots to try to protect themselves in the media. And now they're going to try to get this Celtics team fired up so they can be back on the bandwagon. And that way they can only talk about the Knicks and the Celtics because that's all they want to talk about.
And to be fair, I mean, some of these pundits are probably getting death threats from Celtics fans who paid money to have them win that game and they didn't win. So there you go. I mean, if you're going to pundit and say somebody's going to win a game and somebody bets money on it, then they get pretty angry when they don't win. So,
yeah. And it's, then there's this that really bothers the hell out of me. And this league is a sucker for a few players. All right. And I'm going to give you an example, the biggest example that you could imagine.
Okay.
You have the Dallas Mavericks playing Oklahoma City, right? The Mavs were 50-32 this year and 57-25 for OKC. OKC had a really good year. In the game last night, Dallas won 119-110 in Oklahoma City, and the series is now tied at 1-1. But they named the most valuable player all prior to this shit. And the amazing thing is, Gilgeous-Alexander had 13 of 24 from the field, 33 points. He had 12 rebounds. He had 10 defensive rebounds. He had 8 assists.
That's a good game.
And he should have been the MVP of the year.
Correct.
But he wasn't because they had to give it to the big white guy, Jokic, again.
Wow.
3 fucking years in a row, that tub of goo. I'm sick of it. I am so sick of it. I mean, it's doesn't make any sense to me. They just want to keep the certain names at the top and to break into that few players is like the greatest honor you can get in the NBA.
It's almost like these second level players, so-called, need to sleep with somebody to make it up to the top level, It's almost like that.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. But you look at a guy like, and I'm not saying anything bad about Jokic. I mean, he's a fine basketball player.
He does look kind of fat, though. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, he's got a lot of cleverness to his game, and he's got a lot of diversity in his game.
Diversity, that's a good word.
There's a good
word. I
word.
like that word.
Yeah. Wait, I got something in my eye. I like Jokic. But it's how can you not give the MVP to a player who took his team to a 57-25 record, who carried the team on his shoulders? He's the best player on the team. And look what he's got around him. He's got Holmgren, who's a rookie, who's a good rookie.
A walrus.
Yeah.
Mike Holmgren.
Yeah. But Chris Holmgren is a good player, and he's going to be a better player. But he's got Giddey. He's got Dort. I mean, he's got Williams. These are players. How did they get to be 57-25?
I have no idea. They sound like a Beavis and Butthead team, really.
SGA was the reason that they got there. And I thought the most valuable player was all about who raised the level of their team? I mean, Jokic, his team's been winning. Why do we have to see him over and over again?
I don't know. No idea.
I just don't understand the whole thing. And the league lacks credibility. And you can bet
You
that
can bet on that.
the Celtics,
You can
yeah,
bet on that.
yeah, the Celtics are going to be the home team in Cleveland. That
Yeah.
I can guarantee you. And I'm not getting all that excited. The word, by the way, that Stephen A. Smith used was the Celtics are vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Wow.
Vulnerable.
Like they're going to get shot in the Achilles heel or something. Yes. Vulnerable.
Well, Richard, there's no update on that, but there are people saying that Dean Wade is going to play tomorrow. So, no, I'm serious.
You're kidding.
No. I mean,
no.
I don't understand what's been wrong with him all this time, but now they're saying, well, he might play tomorrow. And like, I don't think that the Celtics are losing their shit because Dean Wade might play.
Probably not. No.
But he's not going to be able to give you any meaningful minutes anyway at this point. He hasn't played in God knows how long, and who knows what's really wrong with his knee. The story has never really been told about that. But be that as it may, that's the other news out of Cleveland.
Isn't it an early game tomorrow as well? I mean,
no, the game tomorrow is an 8:30 start.
8:30. Okay, I thought I saw somewhere that some games early, but I imagined that.
And I love this headline: "Left for dead Cavs," showing why they shouldn't be counted out against the Celtics. Chris Fedor, Bub, aka Bub. I don't forgive and I don't forget Bub. Chris Fedor is a horse's ass. Just a horse's ass. And nobody left anybody for dead. That's just your bullshit way of trying to stir up shit. The bottom line is every single game, if it's a fair game, matters. Anything could happen. And again, if you don't believe it, then you shouldn't be writing sports articles and things like that. This isn't a matter of dumb luck. It's a matter of one team not being focused and the other team finding their footing and becoming more confident the more they saw that the other team wasn't focused. That's what it was. So, yeah, and that's true, Richard. That's the point with Wade. I don't think Wade is going to be able to give more than like 12 minutes on a court. That would be my guess. But if he can at least move a little while he's in the game defensively, it'll make things a little tougher for the Celtics because Niang just immediately gives up points to whomever he's supposed to be guarding.
Niang's like a walking 13-0 run when he comes in.
And the Timberwolves look great right now. I mean, they got that dynamic duo. They got Edwards and Towns, and that's clicking right now.
Did you see the photo where Edwards is staring down the Denver crowd? It was fucking brilliant photo.
Oh, they got attitude going for them, and they're hot team right now. Whether they have the seasoning and experience to be able to get through the fixed league, gonna find out.
I think whoever the league wants out of Boston or New York to win the championship is going to win the championship. But yeah, I mean, for a Minnesota team, you gotta like the Timberwolves. I said it. There you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's but this is what you're getting from it's like one game is not a Rocky story. I mean, at least when Mike Tyson lost the title in Tokyo to Buster Douglas, yeah, at least Buster Douglas won the title. Okay,
he did.
I mean, He
He
didn't
did.
hold on to it for very long, but
No, but he loved his food though, man. He liked food, Buster Douglas.
he ate himself into a coma. No, seriously,
Yeah, he
he
did.
really did, and he was like over 400 pounds.
Wow,
But
great.
yeah, but he at least won the title with and all the glory with that one win. One win against the Celtics is not an indictment of the Celtics, nor is it any reason to just be saying that your team was left for dead. I
Yeah.
mean, this team, the Cavs team, would be better with a better coach and better bench coaches, and they would be better with somebody who knew how to put together an inbounds play, who knew
Oh
how
God, that's
to
so painful.
rotations, and all of that. It would really
That's
that
probably one of the most painful things in sports to watch a JB Bickerstaff inbounds play. I mean,
it's incredible.
it is painful.
Yeah, I just want to throw in here real quick that we talked about Chase DeLauder in the last
Yes.
program because he fractured his foot.
Yeah.
And that he was doing the doctor circuit about surgery. Well, now this is something that I don't understand. He will not need surgery on a surgically repaired left foot as was originally feared. All right.
Okay.
But when I started researching the story, what it boils down to is he's not going to need it yet. They're not sure he's going to need it. I don't know exactly what was wrong with his foot to begin with, but it's not like a Lisfranc injury, which is an immediate termination of a season.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, they're going to let him continue just to heal, and it's just and they don't care because it's just going to take the year that they want him.
Yeah, the option year or
That's
whatever.
right.
They don't
That's
have
right.
to pay
It's
for it.
all the
Yeah.
Guardians even care about, for God's sakes.
Oh yeah, they're big on option years and how many
Really big on it.
big on it.
So, I was premature in saying that his season was over, but his season is over. But just in a different way, in a different way. And you can see how hard it is going from AAA to the bigs. You're taking a look at Mansardo, and he's going to have to shorten his swing. You see, there's much better movement on the ball. He's seeing 98, 99, 100-mile-an-hour relief pitchers. He's swinging at balls out of the strike zone. He's expanding his own strike zone. It's really a big jump. It's like making the jump from the D League or the G League up to to the NBA. There are a lot of guys who can dominate down there, but the elite, it's a different story. And it is true of why NBA basketball has taken its draft down to only 2 rounds. It's because
it's pointless. Yeah.
The depth factor of who could actually contribute. And Cavs fans were saying, how come we didn't see Imani Bates anywhere? Because, you're 19 years. Yeah, 19 years old. You haven't developed game. You haven't developed an adult's body yet. There aren't many LeBron Jameses. I mean, guys who come out, I thought that Banchero really looked good, but Banchero isn't LeBron James. Let's be clear.
Oh,
LeBron James is a once in a lifetime kind of.
Yeah, and his son is not LeBron James either. So there you go.
Well, but I think LeBron's smart enough to know that. He's not going to say that in public,
Yeah.
But so I didn't want to say that Chase DeLauder was absolutely gone, but I think the organization is just going to keep him in the minor leagues and use that as an excuse for that. We'll see how Manzardo does. The Guardians lost to the painfully inept White Sox 3-2.
Wow.
Well, what's happening is what you can't afford to have happen is the hitting is stopped.
No.
They're not getting any innings from their starting pitching. They're Ben Lively, who has had a couple of really good starts. You knew it couldn't go on forever, and so he got whacked around a little bit. and they were down 3-0 the whole game. And then with 2 out in the 8th inning, man, back-to-back dingers. You had Jose Ramirez crank one into the right field stands in Chicago, and then you had Naylor, Josh, the one who can hit, drive it into the right field stands, and it was 3-2. But that's as close as they were going to get. I mean, the relief pitcher came in and for the 9th inning, the closer, and he just blew the hitters away. Just threw straight fastballs by him, and they couldn't catch up to him. So, we knew there were going to be challenges for the Guardians because they just don't have that kind of offense. But, now, this stands out. I'm going to really race through the rest of the program.
Fine.
Do you know?
To say.
If you want the ultimate experience called the owner's experience and want to see the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight in person,
Oh, God.
Yep. The tickets go on sale next week, and the top drawer package,
the golden VIP package or whatever,
$2 million.
$2 million. $2 million.
$2 million is enough you could live on for the rest of your years, Rick May.
Pretty much, yes.
I mean, come on. Who in the hell has $2 million to throw away for tickets? And that's what Filthy Rich is all about. And you're absolutely right. We had the bases loaded, nobody out, and somehow strikeout, double play. And Tyler Freeman cannot hit in that situation. You needed to pinch hit him. You ended up pinch hitting him the next time around. It was ridiculous. He's not going to drive the ball for a sacrifice fly. He's not going to do anything for you. But with one out, he will hit the ball weakly to the second baseman into an easy double play. And that's exactly what happened. $2 million. He's going to post-date a check. Yeah. I mean, first of all, who gives a shit about this fight? Which shouldn't be sanctioned. It shouldn't even be allowed to be put on any level.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's like Senator Byrd would say. It's barbaric.
Yeah, I mean, looking at a picture of Mike Tyson in his boxing gloves now, it's just like, you shouldn't be doing this, dude. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing this. I mean, Mike Tyson was part of boxing history and a story that is worth telling because of the history of the sport. Yeah. He has
his place in boxing history.
Oh, very definitely.
He has his place.
And the fact of the matter is he had incredibly fast hands, and he proved in an era where bigger men were fighting that a guy who could crouch down low, and what he lost when he lost Customato, the guy who was his trainer, and he lost Teddy Atlas, and asshole Don King took him over. He started fighting too upright, too stiff, and he didn't have, I remember there was a fighter in history. Of course, I say I remember because here I remember I never saw him fight, Arturo Godoy. And Arturo Godoy was a guy from South America. And he fought Joe Louis for the heavyweight title. This guy crouched so low. When I say his knees were this far off the canvas when he crouched.
Wow.
I never seen anybody crouch so low in my life. It gave Louis fits. The fight went 15 rounds. Louis won. Gave him fits. Mike Tyson was like that. He would get so low, but from that low position, he would power through his legs up into people, and he would have those multiple punch combinations, especially the double left, the left to the body, hook to the head. And, his place in history was to prove that it wasn't for the 6'3", 6'4" Muhammad Ali's, Kenny Norton's, George Foreman's, Larry Holmes, that a guy who was 5'11" could still do damage at the heavyweight level. Everybody was scared to death of him.
Oh God, yeah.
And unfortunately, his story is a cautionary tale that
Yeah,
everybody already knows.
he's a bit like O.J. Simpson without the knife stabbings. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just a guy who had problems and,
yeah,
was on medications, and then, Don King got a hold of him, fucked with him,
Huh.
and that whole Robin Givens thing, which I
Yeah,
think she was put up to that. I don't know what the whole story was. And then, of course, the unfortunate thing with the beauty pageant gal who name is eluding me now,
yeah,
uh, who has gone into absolute invisibility after
oblivious.
this because it ruined her life completely. She went
Yeah,
up to his room and then he took advantage of her. And it was a whole bad thing. He went to prison. And, why do we have to sully the memory of what he was by seeing this? Yeah, and that's exactly right, Rick. I mean, we're gonna have Rey Mysterio fighting Evander Holyfield. I mean, what the hell? Uh, I don't know.
wow. Make it stop.
Yeah, but whoever would go see that fight, $2 million.
$2 million.
Yeah, and before I just totally quit on this show, there's just a few other things that I want to get
You're
out of
still
my.
going. You're like the Timex watch. It doesn't stop.
Yeah,
Take the licking.
ex NBA champ gets 40 months in prison for healthcare fraud.
Wow.
All right,
That okay.
now who was it?
You want me to? I have no idea.
Glenn Big Baby Davis.
Thank you, Tommy.
I had one more Tommy left in my
I
throat.
would never have guessed that in a million years. No, I
Yeah,
wouldn't have.
and the funny thing about it is morbidly obese Big Baby
Morbid.
who ate too much barbecue and ended up well over 300 pounds in a in a healthcare benefit scheme.
Wow.
He's not the only one, but he's going away for 40 months. That cushy mushy butt's gonna get tested.
Wow. He wasn't involved with Brett Favre, was he? Brett Favre.
No, no. I mean, one of 22 people, including 18 former NBA players, filing false medical and dental claims of more than $5 million with the NBA Players Health and Benefit Welfare Plan.
Wow.
The
That
former
sounds like a
NBA,
racketeering to me. That is racketeering.
here are the other players, and you probably won't know too many of
Any of
them.
them. Well, let's
Yeah.
see if I know any of
The
them.
main names: Terrence Williams, Keon Dooling,
No,
Alan Anderson,
maybe.
Will Bynum. He was a
Yeah,
guard, isn't that?
yeah.
Yeah, those are the main names. Yeah. So, but I never thought I'd say Health and Big Baby Davis in the same story.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the Pacers coach Rick Carlisle, $35,000 fine for criticizing the refs. Well, you know something?
He's from Indiana. I mean, of course you're not going to get calls when you're playing the Knicks.
Yeah.
Come on.
After, the game, the second game, the first one was bad enough. They called that moving screen on them. I mean, it's like you don't call that the whole game. And with 14 seconds left in the game,
Boom.
when they could shoot the winning shot, you never let them get the shot off because you call that.
Yeah,
They,
that's a
they, they,
Cavaliers.
they just, it's all rigged
They're
for
gonna,
the Knicks.
they're gonna
All.
fuck the Pacers. And not that I like the Pacers at all. I don't, but they're gonna get fucked. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's small market teams deserve an equal shot, Carlisle said. They deserve a fair shot no matter where they're playing.
Oh, what's he mean by that?
Yeah. And of course, Hart, the New York Knicks player, rejected that. Fuck no, that's so stupid, bro. We're going to say the big market always wins. Well, certainly not the Knicks.
or the Jets, or the New York Giants, or
Yeah.
you know, yeah, Mets.
Yeah, and Hart, for his part, played in New Orleans and Portland, so he knows all about winning,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
yeah,
Yeah, but
absolutely.
once he's in New York, now he's experiencing winning. Right? Oh God, you hate to see it because Indiana's played two good games. They got nothing to show for it because, well,
Wow.
the league just doesn't want that.
Yeah, they don't want them. But could you imagine if they have a Pacers Cavs Eastern Conference final? They won't be able to. They'll be all the games will be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You know,
And then get this, Mike Trout, who
Mike Trout.
came into the league, he's an Angels player, a very fine player. He's decided that he wants to have surgery to repair a torn meniscus in his left knee, and he feels that's the better alternative than postponing the procedure and being a designated hitter for the rest of the season.
Wow.
That was an option the team put out there, he said. He said it would have been just maintaining the pain level of it. Well, he
Oh,
should get the we're talking about a meniscectomy. We're talking about cleaning out the knee and shaving off the torn piece of cartilage. There's no reason why he should have to play through that because it's just going to, in 1 year, because I was fighting an insurance company over the very same injury because I'm claustrophobic. Well, I'm
right.
worse. Fat and claustrophobic. And the whole notion of having to get an MRI, I get open MRIs.
Okay,
Now
that's
with the
wow.
weight I've lost, I don't have to anymore, but I hope
Wow.
I never have to have another MRI in my life.
I've had more than my share of MRIs,
Eh,
and I'm not claustrophobic, but I can understand that somebody who was
Yeah.
would be pretty freaked out by him.
But in the 1 year that it took for me to when I sold my properties in Michigan and went to Binghamton, New York, I couldn't get there was no open MRIs in Michigan. Could you believe that?
Yeah, I can
I was
actually.
45 minutes away from Detroit and they didn't have a single open MRI machine. I would have had to have gone to Toledo. My insurance company fought me on it.
Wouldn't do it.
They
Yeah.
I didn't have the procedure until I had sold the stations, went to Binghamton, and by then my knee was ravaged with
Wow.
arthritis, which is what led to the knee replacement in my right knee.
Yeah.
So you can't just let that continue. All right. But the thing that's pathetic about it is that when he has been a designated hitter in 1,518 career games, he's only been a DH 81 times, and he has a 214 batting average.
Correct.
I mean, he don't want to be a
No.
DH. He's a guy who wants to be in the field so he can dive for balls and get injured again because the
Yeah.
last 4 years he's been sidelined with all kinds of injuries.
Yeah, he's kind of Grady Sizemore like, only
Yeah,
bigger and better.
run through a brick wall. Good player, fine player, but yeah, he has to back it off a notch, and it may be too late.
I bet Tommy Heinsohn really likes him.
Yes, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams has been declared as the Bears' #1 quarterback before rookie minicamp. So they're
Wow.
they're just rolling out the red carpet, and he's going to learn on the job, and that's
Wow.
fine. That's what you #1 draft pick. That's what happens. And Matt Eberflus, the coach of the Bears, got to get someone in there who can play the position. So that's
Wow.
what's up there. Then the weirder story, I think, is the constant problem of the Raiders. All right. The Raiders can't figure it out.
Okay.
So there's a quarterback battle, if you want to call it that, between Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. It's a battle of the Titans, and I don't mean Tennessee.
Wow. That's the battle you don't want to see. Yeah.
And I'll answer Amsterdam. No, I don't think.
The
I don't even
winking
know
lizard.
that. I don't know that the Winking Lizard even has karaoke. I'm not so sure about that. But one of my favorite places to eat, though, is right behind the Winking Lizard. which is Kintaro, which is a great all-you-can-eat sushi place. Really
Wow.
nice, good
Ooh.
sushi there.
Oh, I'd have that.
I like me some of that.
Yeah,
And
I'll
matter
have
of
that.
fact, we're going there on Sunday. Every Sunday we go for the lunch on Sunday, and it's really good and very reasonably priced. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Do they have like a senior citizen special there? Or not?
no. And if they did, you know,
All right,
I
here's
would
a question for you. Do you have a golden Buckeye card?
no.
You need to get a golden Buckeye card. Come on, you can't be in
I got gray
Ohio.
hair. I got gray hair. That's as much advertising as I need. Yeah, but with Aiden O'Connell last year, you know, uh, you know, here's their quote: "Aiden's earned the right to go out there and earn the first snap of training camp. What he's done this offseason, changing his body, his work ethic, being here every day, blocking out the outside noise. He's not worried about anything. I'm excited for him."
Changing his body, is he transgender? Or does he identify as
Oh my
something
God,
other
he's
than?
got a penis this year. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I apologize
Yeah,
for that one.
no, I mean it's a fair question. Everything's fair game here. But
Well, I don't want to upset any of your transgender listeners, so there you go.
but Aiden O'Connell earns that because he got into shape in the offseason.
Yeah, like that's his fucking job.
You know you got problems there before the season even begins. Unbelievable. And let's see if there's anything else. No, there is nothing else. I'm quite finished. And
wow, you made it for nearly a whole hour. Wow.
Yeah, I did. And I don't know what dry dock is. Is that you're saying what used to be dry dock?
It's like a Red Lobster.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Who knows?
And yeah, when you were 16, he worked at Lanning's in Bath. Can you believe that? I thought that was a classy spot. Why in the fuck were you there? Yeah, it's right, Rick. It's like, yeah, you go into camp and Charlie Fry earns the right to get the reps. I mean, it's like you got a big fucking problem on your hands. And
Charlie Fry,
like Miles Straw battling for a center field spot. Yeah, he's battling, all right. God almighty. Well, everybody.
What's the weather like up there, Dick Goddard?
Well, the weather up here, it's getting cold. Today was a high of 61, but it's going down to 43 tonight, which is colder than a witch's tit. And
wow.
It's going to be cold, and it's not going to get out of the 50s tomorrow, and there's going to be rain. At least there's sunshine outside for those woolly bears.
Yeah, way to go, Woolly Bears. We love the Woolly Bears.
You know, I do Dick Goddard, and I have a smile on my face. But you know, something tells me that there was something more to Dick Goddard, like Dick Goddard, the abusive husband. You know.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm going to beat the shit out of you again if you don't have a hot dinner on the table within 10 minutes. No, he was legendary.
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what Dick Goddard was like behind closed doors? Yeah.
Unreal. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning into this edition of Woohead Radio. I hope this fascinated you.
We have just mocked so many dead people today. It's unreal, man. We're all going.
Yeah. Well, then I'll have my day too. But thanks, Bronk, for coming in, and thanks everybody in the chat room for playing along. And we'll see you
Bailey
again
Moose
on Monday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastorheads. Good night.
Bailey Howell.